Hello and welcome to Brewskis and House Keys. I am Nicole Kostelecki.
And I'm Nick Papantanakis.
And we are here at Remax Alliance, Old Town office, enjoying some beers and some non-beers. Well, beers-ish.
Beers-ish. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
We're dabbling in and out of the NA thing more and more. Today it's I guess a personal choice, given the weekend I had, but I'm proud of you for staying to it. And I promise I'll keep drinking beer. But for the sake of the podcast,
yes,
it's not called Hop Tea and House Keys.
No.
Although that is kind of catchy now that I say it.
Well,
we're not going to do that.
There's not enough of those.
No, there's not.
Okay.
But
anyway,
speaking
you
of
had
this
a good weekend, huh?
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was balanced with work stuff and non-work stuff, which was kind of by design. So I got the chance to spend a lot of time with the fam. We got to do a nice hike out at South Table Mountain. Actually, it was just my wife and I, because Jane had 2 birthday parties to go to this weekend.
Daisy?
We took Daisy.
Yeah.
And we just the 3 of us went for a hike. Jane was at a little birthday party riding horses. So.
Oh, that's neat.
I know.
Where was that?
So out by Ralston Valley High School. I don't remember what the place is called, but it was only like 4 little girls that went.
My nieces like to do that too, and that's fun.
It's sweet, and they have a blast. I secretly hope Jane doesn't get too into it, because it's an expensive hobby to start down the path of. Yeah. But who knows, So.
Especially here. I mean, in other states where you're on farms or whatnot, it's more prominent.
Yeah.
But here it's not.
We're no longer a cow town, even though we try to be sometimes.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yes, my weekend was good. Got some work and some play. We went to a derby party, which was super fun.
Oh, yes.
Yes. One of the ladies in our office hosts a derby party it's a fundraiser for cystic fibrosis, and it was a blast. Got dressed up and had maybe one too many mint juleps.
As one is supposed to do. And these parties are notorious for that. So it's not like you were in bad form. You were probably much better off than some of the other folks.
I actually did feel I did wear a hat. It wasn't like super fancy, but it was a sun hat that I've never really worn sun hats before. Like so
you either go like grand or you go micro.
Yeah, I just went and borrowed one from my sister. So that's what I did.
There you go.
I picked from what I had.
Or
what she had, I should say.
I was at the land title office down in Old Town, Arvada here on Friday, and the receptionist had the tiniest clipped-on hat on top of her perfectly done hair there. And I was like, oh, so you're ready for tomorrow? And she goes, yes.
Yes,
and
I
am.
am.
A little tiny tip of the little tiny hat. It was perfect.
That's funny.
I like that. I like the micro. Well, more than a gigantic, I think.
Yeah.
We also had the hot air balloon event this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Thank you to the clients that came out. Definitely loved having you guys out there. Another bummer of a kind of an early end, though. I mean, by 8:20, I think those balloons were down again, just due to the breeze. But I feel like we served a lot of pancakes. We served a lot of sausage, a lot of coffee, and a lot of people got to ride. Yeah. I think I rode 3 times.
Well, that's good to know. If you're going to come to the event next year, then make sure to show up early. Should be your number 1 rule.
And I know it's tough. I think this year was especially tough because of the timing with Cinco de Mayo was the day before.
Right.
And then we had the Derby that day. So a lot of people were, not up yet because they were planning for later in the day. And then it's Saturday.
Graduations are starting to come too. Like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of parties.
A lot of parties
I have coming up.
Folks with kids are doing baseball and soccer and all, so it's just a lot. So it's kind of it was a juggling act, I think, this year for some people, but definitely still a fun turnout to see everybody out there. Plus, it's 2 giant Remax balloons in a park in Boulder. It was what's not to love. We got some great photos courtesy of our podcast guru extraordinaire / very, very, very talented photographer, Nicole. So thank you, sir. Good looking work there. There he is, our man behind the camera.
Yeah.
And then, I'm assuming you real estated this weekend, too.
I did do some real estating and helped with some clients that are under contract. So looked over some things and it was good.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And you?
A little bit, yeah.
Open house?
I dabbled. I did an open house on Saturday for my client in Westminster. Mm-hmm. And then my father, beloved seasoned veteran that he is in Washington, D.C., fighting for realtors' rights for 3 days. I think that's what you're doing, Dad. I don't know for sure.
Did he leave today or Sunday?
He left on Sunday.
Oh, gosh. He was probably
I think. And his flight was supposed to be at 3:30 in the morning. Sorry in advance, Dad. He missed his flight. Or he was supposed to leave the house at 3:30. His flight was at 6. He calls me because I texted him. I was like, at like 7. Let me know when you're on the ground.
Gosh, that's
and at like 7:30 or 8, he goes, I missed my flight. He called me. He's like, I missed my flight. So I'm just now getting to the airport for my 12:30 flight. I was like,
funny.
So.
I find that to be really funny.
Good job, dude. You derbied.
Well done.
I don't think they're related. I don't think the derby had anything to do with him oversleeping.
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Nice.
But yes, I also visited, since this is Brewskis and Houskies, and I'm not drinking today. Yesterday, I went and met a past client with my wife and daughter at a place called Wonderland Brewery in Westminster. This is a must.
Where is it at exactly?
It's like 120th east of. Oh wait, no. I guess it's west of Sheridan.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know what the cross street is exactly there. Chase, maybe 120th and Chase, but it's
good.
It's good beer.
Yeah.
They have good food in their little like food area that they have set up. The place is massive. It has a massive footprint. It has pinball. It has video games. It has a 9-hole putt-putt course. It has 2 pickleball courts. It has 2 basketball courts and a stage for live music with like 150 seats in their outdoor area, plus a full like bar set up inside and about a dozen tables inside. It's
pretty cool.
It's like the brewery that I wish I owned because it's everything you want to do. The only thing missing maybe is like shuffleboard, but they had cornhole. They had it all. They had everything else.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a brewery. It's their own beer. And Wonderlands, there's a lot of Alice in Wonderland stuff around there.
Well, we'll have to feature them sometime.
I think it's absolutely necessary.
Yes.
And it's definitely worth a visit for anybody listening. If you haven't been there, please go.
There you go.
Including.
Is that an on-location visit?
Oh, I want to say that so bad because it'd be amazing. They'd probably say yes too because they're all just the nicest people. So anyway, awesome place.
Well, speaking of beer
and
drinking, what are you non-drinking?
Not beer. So we talked about Hoplark before. This beverage is from Hoplark as well. They're based out of Boulder. This is their hop tea, and it's their black tea version, which is going to have some caffeine in there. And then it's also made with Cascade and Citra hops. So it's got some good hoppy bitterness to it. It's really good.
I like those. I do.
And it's carbonated. It kind of scratches
refreshing.
the itch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of these. And they have a chamomile one too, so it's going to be not caffeinated. So they've got a good mix of bevies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you?
I am drinking the Rock Climber from Living the Dream Brewing Company out of Littleton. And it is an IPA, like always. I love them.
Because we can't help ourselves.
I swear, I had that.
Very refreshing.
I will try it.
Try it. It's really refreshing. It's hop forward. Not really fruity or anything, just hoppy and bitter and delicious and refreshing.
I think they have that at Sticks.
Do you want to taste it?
Oh, could be. I've never seen them before. Apparently, they opened in 2014, so they've been around.
It's good.
They're not. I looked on their website. Their 9-year anniversary party's coming up in July, so maybe that's a good time to visit them.
Yeah. What else did you find out about
They've
them?
got, they're kind of the quintessential brewery of Colorado. They've got trivia nights. They've got bingo nights. They've got some food trucks on rotating schedule there. So seems like a pretty cool place to go.
I love that. I love how in Colorado you can just go to any brewery and probably find something to do in the evening.
And eat. Like it's not just
really
going
cool.
and getting, a lot of beers. You end up being able to make it a night. That's almost like
it's an event in and of itself.
That's a preferred activity for my family and I. Like we can take my daughter and go do that, and it's not untoward because we're not just sitting there getting drunk with our kid.
Yeah, I need to do that. I haven't really done like a good brewery night in a while.
Wonderland, go there.
Okay.
Or go to, Living the Dream. You can go there too.
Living the Dream. I like both the names, to be honest.
There you go.
They're both great.
They both emit some sort of like positivity.
Yeah, Living the Dream.
Speaking of living the dream, what are we talking about today?
Market updates.
Oh man.
My favorite, actually. I
Well,
love them.
We obviously we do them once a month, but I feel like it really is nice to kind of just take that pulse of what's going on.
Yeah. Yes,
So.
it's important. It's important for us to do that, one. And two, I love numbers, so here I am.
It's a good thing you're in real estate then. It's all kinds of numbers.
Yeah. So why don't you hit us with the
I'll dive in.
prices?
So we start with our residential average and median home prices. So we're looking back at we're looking back at April. Remember, because it is the beginning of May, our median home price was $580,000. That includes all homes, attached and detached homes. That's a 2.47 increase from the month previous, from March. So, that price is eking up a little bit. If you split that up, detached single family homes, median home price, $640,000. So that's up over 3%, 3.3% from March. And then attached median home price is going to be $410,000, which is a slight increase from the previous month. About 0.68%. So nothing crazy there, but overall still seeing that climb in prices, which I think is not uncommon from the spring market.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And then if you look back, which is always a good thing to do too, I think a year ago, because in a lot of ways we're in a similar market as we were a year ago, give or take. Obviously interest rates are different.
Interest rates are different, and we also, had the Marshall fires last year. So I think that's important to take into account. But yeah, year over year, we are down.
Yeah.
About 5%.
On the home prices. So.
But yeah, I guess that's the best way to look at it. Is interest rates are now higher, and then same thing. The Marshall fires put out 1,000 people, 1,000 families. So.
And much like COVID, that's one of those anomalies that happens that you have no control over. You can't plan for, but you do have to use it. Looking back at historical data to really best assess what's happening now. Mm-hmm. It really does help. I agree.
Yeah. So diving a little deeper, so the average days in MLS for April was 29 days. So that is a 21.62% decrease from March. So homes are moving faster. Which was expected.
Yep, absolutely expected.
Yeah, the spring market has really picked up quite a bit. So yes, I was expecting to see that. And then homes catching up as far as going under contract and closing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. And then splitting that up. So it was 30 days average on market for detached homes and 25 for attached homes. There were 4,620 active listings at month's end, which is up just a little bit, 2% from March's month's end of 4,516. But year over year, again, looking back to April of 2022, we are up in inventory by 45%. So
having
really good.
Having 2,500 homes on the market at the end of the month last year.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Right.
And not sustainable. I know we say that a lot when we're reflecting, but it's good to see that.
So it is good to see that, to see the 4,500 homes.
Which is still low, but it's good to have the inventory.
Yes.
At least eking its way up.
Mm-hmm. And then as far as new listings for the month of April, there was 4,700. So quite a bit new coming on, but it was a decrease from March's.
Hit the spring market. That's what agents are telling their sellers.
Yes.
Get them out there.
Get out there. Go. So average, this was an interesting number for us to see. The average close to list price was 100.21% for residential homes. So that means that more, people were paying more than the list price.
So there's some more competitive areas out there again, which also to be expected this time of year.
Right, but we haven't seen that number over 100 since last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
We've been in that 96 to 99% range for the last few months at least. So that's
good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives you that sense of what is happening in the market. How aggressive do I need to be if I'm a buyer?
Yes.
And what to expect as a seller.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So interest rates are at about 6.5% for a 30-year conventional fixed loan. So good to know.
Staying in that same sweet spot, kind of between 5.8 and 6.5, where it's been more or less, minus maybe a blip or two, since the beginning of the year, really, which is nice. So thank goodness, some stability, some balance. All right, so let's talk about what that means for buyers a little bit, as we always do, like to reflect. And there has been a lot that has gone on, I think it's worth noting. The idea of what's happening in the current economy. Interest rates are always a topic for people. We certainly are not, mortgage lender experts, so we're not going to, advise you one way or the other on those. But, and then the whole bank failing thing in certain like that spikes people's emotions.
Right.
And our esteemed fearless leader, Phil, tells us the number one commodity we deal in is emotions in this business. And so it's important to have that gauge on your radar when you're talking with buyers. And it's you can't just blanket statement any of those one things.
Right.
So I think
you can't just totally listen to the news either. So
absolutely. I mean, obviously everyone should formulate their own opinion, but at the end of the day, if you want to get your car looked at, you don't take it to the hair salon. You take it to a mechanic who's going to know what they're talking about. So when it comes to at least figuring out what makes sense in this market for you, and I need to emphasize that, for you specifically, the buyer, pick up the phone, talk to your agent. It's probably Nicole or me anyway, and make sure that you're just having that conversation, because there may be things that you're completely valid for being fearful of. There may be other things that are maybe blown out of proportion, but we're always willing and happy to have those conversations.
Definitely.
I also think that I've seen a huge uptick in open houses in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the weather being nice does that. So I think that gets more people out of their homes, even if they're not looking to buy right now. And if you're not watching the video, I'm doing air quotes when I say not looking to buy right now, because whether or not people realize it, if they're even thinking about going to look at open houses, there's something in the back of their brain that says, maybe
I'll go look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
or they're sellers and want to see what their houses are selling for.
Absolutely.
In their neighborhood. So it's a good thing to go look at them.
Yeah. And I think it's important to get out there and do that if you're even starting to consider that, walking that path of buying another home or buying a new home or first time buyer, whatever it is. Open houses are a great kind of gateway drug to the whole process. So I think that's good. There's that slight hesitation, like I mentioned before, from buyers with the different factors that they can't control that may bring some fear for some people. So the ones that are clicked in, the ones that are already on the path, the ones that are already thinking about this, are already in the process. Maybe they've already bid on some homes and lost out or whatever it is. This is a great time because it is slightly actually less competitive. And I'm only speaking from this exact past weekend. From my experience, I say that, and maybe that's too narrow of a view, but I had 2 different buyers write offers this last weekend. One, we're waiting to find out this afternoon what happens, because that's when the acceptance is. But we were one of 2 offers. Okay. And that's it.
Yeah.
Through the whole weekend. And so there's that. And then the other one, we didn't even write the offer till today because we could wait. There was a lot of showings, no offers. Okay. Through the whole weekend. So we wrote it on Monday. And I think that's important to note too, because we were able to be patient. We were able to not make a snap decision and bid $8 billion over and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I think it's very house dependent. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there, because some of them are like that, where you can kind of wait until the end of the weekend. But make sure that if you're out there looking at houses and wanting to buy, your agent is double checking like what's going on with that house. Because a couple weeks ago, I had one that my clients were wanting to, they did write on it, but they had 10 offers. So there's some like that, but then there's some that are sitting for like 2-3 weeks. So yeah, longer. Just pay attention.
Yeah. And you found out that they had 10 offers by doing what? Did you
call?
You picked up your phone?
Agent.
It's amazing how those phones work. They don't just text. They actually make phone calls too, which is awesome. So if you get one from one of us, please answer. Thanks. We just want to talk to you. So yeah, I think the other mindset I would maybe put out there is that, in my experience, buyers have become more knowledgeable and more savvy about some of the aspects of home buying. They have the news, for better or for worse, and they have the internet for better or for worse. And so there are a lot of, I guess, a little bit more informed questions coming out of buyers' minds now. And so I think it's great that those exist. But at the end of the day, much like I said before, I think we want to be that resource for you. So before making any kind of snap decisions, I think it's important to gain some knowledge from the person who's been in it and talk with one of us or talk with your agent, whoever you trust. It's a big investment, but it's still very much a sound investment. And
it is.
We want to be sure that you feel good about the decision you're making. So,
awesome. So on the flip side for our sellers, if you're looking to sell here soon, don't miss out on the spring market. Now's a really good time to put your house out there. Keep the competitive nature, as best as you can. I will say it's really important to know your price point of your house and like what the market is doing in that price point, because there are different markets out there, right? I mean, there's ones that are like the 350 to 500 range, 500 to 750. And I'll say the ones that are more like 350 to about, especially like 550 or 500 to 700, those are going faster, have less average days on market than homes that are over $1 million.
Yep.
So it's just important to know that if you're kind of above the 800 price point, you might not have as much competition. Right. So make sure you're doing all those things to get your house nice and pretty.
Very good advice.
Inside and out.
So,
yeah. Speaking of the insides, so the inspections, we've seen quite a few contracts fall out at inspection. Have you been feeling that too?
Yes.
So what that means is either, you have the inspection, the buyer does the inspection, and either they decide to terminate just based on the inspection, or more typically they'll object to the inspection and then try to come to a resolution. And if the sellers and the buyers can't come to a resolution, then the contract will terminate.
And from a seller's perspective, it's really important to have a very clear and realistic expectation of your home. It's hard to detach the emotion and love you have for your home. But at the end of the day, you have to know that it's still a home that could potentially have a lot of things. No home is perfect. So it could have things that come up in inspection. And you have to know, A, that that's a real possibility, and B, where you're comfortable with conceding and where you're not. And I think that's a big part of that, where inspections fall out, is the emotion piece comes into play.
Exactly.
At least on the sell side. And
on the sell side, yes, they do. And on the buy side too. I mean, buyers are, no house is perfect, but at the same time, you don't want some things to just crap out on you. Right?
Yeah. And you don't want to be greedy, but you don't want to.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance. So I guess the main point to make is, as a seller, be aware of that. Maybe up front, and don't expect to just fly through inspection, because it's just not happening right now.
But Nicole, I've lived in this home for 30 years and I've never had any issues with my sewer line. That's great. However, it's that's a real conversation we have to have.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So there you go.
So it's a fun time to be playing real estate, I would say.
It is.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of the perfect cocktail. You guys want another cocktail? You guys want another mint julep? No? We're still? Okay. Yeah.
I'm still doing all right here. I'm fine.
You're a trooper. All right. Well, that does it for our April market update for 2023. Thank you to everyone for joining. As always, we love your viewership and listenership, we'll say. Thank you to Hoplark and to Living the Dream Brewery. Please check them out. Their web links will be in the comments or in the descriptions below the episodes. And as always, we love and appreciate your support. We are I think over a year at this point into this game. We're almost into our 40s as far as number of episodes, and we are just endlessly appreciative of the support. If you have friends that you think might enjoy this, share it with them.
Yes, please.
We love any kind of new folks we can talk to. I got word from my sister that she heard a couple episodes recently, so she's pumped on that. And so I'm pumped for that. Thank you, Tina. I love you and appreciate you. I hope you know that. She's also about to have her baby, so I love you too, even much more for that. So beyond that, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We want that as well to get those automatic downloads. And if you ever need anything, like say a really cool Brewskis and House Keys bottle opener, just reach out. We're here.
Yes, give us a call.
In the meantime, we'll see you next time.
Cheers.